Hi students, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today we will be discussing a subject in MBA first year semester 2, and the subject is marketing management, and the topic that we are going to discuss is marketing and introduction. So see, I've been in this field for 40 years, and this is one subject that always excited me, because unlike accounting, which is a historical subject, marketing is something that is always on, in the sense there is a lot of innovations that are going on, and that is what attracted me to marketing in the first place. For example, if I take today itself, I have used so many technologies. For example, when I wanted to come to this studio, I went on to a ride hailing app, maybe we can even name it, called Rapido. So I took that, and when I was trying to take the ride, I took the help of a mobile phone, again a technological revolution, and using the mobile phone I used the internet, and the internet was connected to the broadband. Seamlessly sitting at my home, I ordered for a cab, and the cab came, and the cab has got my details, I have got the details of the driver, everything is safe, everything is seamless, and that is what is marketing for you, a subject that gives you a lot of conveniences. So you take any field, marketing has made our life better. If you say even movies, for example, movies, earlier we have to go to a cinema hall, buy tickets and wait in queues, maybe sweat in the summer. Now everything is online, everything is OTT, we can even see things at home. So let's move on to marketing as we generally perceive. So a lot of misconceptions about marketing. So somebody can say, oh, you have marketed yourself very well. That is not marketing, my friends. That is good presentation. A lot of people, especially in the Telugu speaking states, would say, my dad has gone out for marketing, actually has gone out for shopping. So marketing is a great subject, and in fact is a fulcrum of all management studies, because the management guru Peter Drucker has very famously said that business enterprise has got only two functions. Please remember, only two functions: marketing and innovations, and all the rest are simply costs. So keeping that in mind, let us move on to the next one. Marketing is the lifeblood of business. So without marketing, there is no business. So we can define marketing process as the core of researching. So we research about our products, we promote it, and then we sell our products and services. By doing this, we gain what is called as a competitive edge. What is competitive edge is how we are better than others. For example, there are a lot of pizza companies, but only one company called Domino's Pizza got a competitive edge, because Domino's Pizza said that when everybody is able to deliver in maybe 1 hour, we will do the delivery within 29 minutes. So the 29-minute delivery of Domino's gave them the competitive edge. Then if you do all this, the customers will get satisfied, their needs will get satisfied, and please remember, these needs have to be satisfied on a consistent level. So when we do all this, the dream of the company, that is, what is the dream of the company, is to achieve loyal customers through a marketing plan. So now let us look at the next one. Marketing has evolved in the last 40 years. Now marketing is all in the digital age. For example, just now I told you that how internet, how our mobile internet, how our broadband, how our mobile phones have changed everything. So there is a lot of activity on the internet now, and especially using the mobile phone. So the advent of the internet and numerous marketing channels have given a level playing field for all the players, which means you might be a small company, you might be a big company, you can compete against the giants. So now we have to see marketing beyond the traditional marketing, and this unit will cover introduction to key terms like market, marketing, selling, marketing management, types of market, marketing environment, and even emerging trends. So let's move on to the next one. So let us define what is a market first of all, because our subject as it is called marketing management and introduction. So we can define the market as a set of actual and potential buyers of a product. So this market will have the actual buyers and the potential buyers also. Then we can look at a buyer group, a group of potential buyers with needs and wants and the purchasing power to satisfy them. So it is not simply having an urge to buy, but the buyers need to have a purchasing power also. Then we will be looking at core concepts like exchange, transaction, and relationship leading to a concept of a marketing. So let us look at Market classification. So the first type of markets are called as consumer markets. Consumer markets are markets where individuals like you and me, we can go and buy products for a personal consumption. Maybe you are buying a fan, maybe you are buying some noodles, maybe you are buying a television. The same product, if it is bought by organizations, for example, there is B.R. Ambedkar Open University. When B.R. Ambedkar Open University is buying these fans or computers, then they will become industrial products, and the markets will be called as industrial markets. Then we have institutional markets, which are huge governmental agencies, maybe like the Indian Railways, and then it could be Indian Armed Forces, big schools, big hospitals. So when institutions are buying, we'll call them institutional markets. And we have reseller markets. Reseller markets are people who buy from the manufacturer and they store it with them and they will try to resell at a profit. And please note that these are not watertight compartments. A consumer product can become an industrial product can become an institutional product, and it can be a reseller product. It is only for our understanding. So let us look at beyond categories. Just now we saw markets as categories. Now let us try to segregate markets by dynamics. The first thing we can say is a buyer's market. So buyer's market is a market where the buyer has got more bargaining strength, that is, a buyer has got more bargaining strength, or he has got more power because there is more supply than demand. So when there is more supply than demand, the buyer has got a way of picking and choosing the products. Then we have a seller's market. A seller has got more bargaining strength, or when there is more demand than supply. If you see the Indian Railways is seller's market. They are the only people, and they can sell it at, of course they will not sell it at a very high cost, but because there is more demand than supply, we call it as a seller's market. Then we have the competitive positions, monopoly, single seller. Just now we were talking about Indian Railways, only one railway system, whether we like it or not, all of us will have to travel by that. That's called a monopoly. We have oligopoly, few dominant sellers. For if you look at the Indian Airlines business is maybe having 6 or 7 players, and because the entry levels are very high, the entry barriers are very high, we call it a oligopoly. There will be 5-6 people, and all the 5-6 people will be having the entire market. Then if you look at something called as a pure competition. What is a pure competition is we'll have many buyers, many sellers, similar products. We have detergents, soaps, cool drinks. So we can call that as pure competition. But let us understand that there is a lot of fluidity in these categories, that categories are not always clear cut, and sometimes some markets can be buyer's market, very quickly they can change into seller's market. A monopoly can become an oligopoly can become a pure competition. So now let us look at markets as people. So a lot of people tend to think that marketing is all about factories, manufacturing, dealers, distributors, but the most important thing is the markets are full of people. So without the existence of people to buy and consume goods, services and ideas, there would be little reason for marketing. So all students should definitely remember this, that end of the day we are catering to people and to their needs. So when we are talking about these wants and needs, they could be overt needs. Overt means express needs, or latent needs. Or latent needs are needs that are there within the customer, but he doesn't know that it exists. Before the coming of Facebook, we never knew that we will have such an app. Before the coming of let us take a service like Google, we never knew that we could search using the internet. So sometimes these needs are recognized, sometimes this could be even potential. Then we will also be looking at what are called as target audience. Target audience are the people whom we are trying to sell our products or market our products. They could be individual consumers, they could be other businesses, or even institutions also. So let us look at what makes a market valid. So it should have a true need, not something that is very vague. It should be recognized, it can be unrecognized or latent. And the second thing is the customer should be willing to pay. There is no gun on his head, there is no force, there is nothing of that sort. He should be able to pay via acceptable means, which is through cash or through credit card, or it should be an exchange, or it could be some sort of a barter system. That ability to pay, the willingness to pay. So nobody can force a customer to buy. This is not some dictatorship, or this is not some military that somebody will come to our house and say, no, you should buy. So if he wants, if he likes the price, if he is willing, only then he will buy. And then the authority to buy. This is what I tell my students, that in organizations we call them the man. He should have the money, he should have the authority, and he should have the need. And the market should be of a sufficient size, large enough to be profitable. For example, the market is only 2-3 customers, and like if let's say I am trying to sell a soap, the market should be in lakhs of people who can buy the product once in 2 months. And then crucial, all the 5 criteria should be met, then only the market will become valid. So now let us move on to the next one, markets as places, okay, which is geographical and beyond. So market can be classified as geographical areas also, which is north, south, east, west, okay, rural and urban, then semi-urban, rich and poor, so many classifications. So the examples of these could be world markets, international markets, regional markets, cyber markets nowadays, shopping centers, even a single retail store or a kirana shop is also a marketplace. These marketplaces are very important because we'll have to take decisions of delivery, customer attraction and transactions, etc. And nowadays markets don't mean geographical places any longer. Beyond geographical places now, there are catalogs, 800 numbers, online platforms, then websites, aggregators, things have moved at a very rapid pace. What is marketing? Let us look at a very nice definition. Marketing can be defined as the process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion and distribution of ideas, goods and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational needs. So the main focus is on an exchange. So exchange between a buyer who has got money and the seller who might have an idea or a good or a service. In simple words, the delivery of customer satisfaction at a profit. Okay. So the essence is the exchange process. So let us look at some different philosophies that have guided the marketing. The first philosophy, we call it as a production philosophy. The production philosophy started with the Industrial Revolution, where people suddenly had mass production. There was heavy demand. People like Henry Ford started the car and he made this car in thousands, and everybody suddenly could afford large number of products. The consumer preference was, the consumer prefer available and highly affordable products. Then the production focus was efficient production and intensive distribution. And the customer assumption that we had was that the customers prioritize low prices and affordability. So this was there for maybe 20-30 years. Then we move on to the next era called the product era. The product era, basically the dominant idea was consumers prefer products based on quality, performance and innovative features. And the company belief is the company knows what's best, which means they were actually looking down on the customers. What is best for the consumers regarding product design? I know better than you. The market reality, the demand often exceeded supply, so customer consultation was very minimal. But the problem was, this led to a concept called marketing myopia or marketing short-sightedness, where companies focus more on the products rather than focusing on their needs. So this Leodore Tevitt very famously called it as marketing myopia or short-sightedness of the companies. So the era 3 is selling philosophy. Emphasis was on creating a sales department for aggressive persuasion of the consumer. The assumption is the consumers are unlikely to buy unless they are aggressively pursued, hard sell. So whether they like it or not, simply dump the product on the customer's face. So this caused increased production, leading to surpluses and heavy competition, cost cutting, unethical selling practices. So the drawback was inside out perspective. Focus was more on short term sales, little concern for customer needs. Then we can move on to the marketing philosophy. This is the first time when we said the customer is the king. So the starting point is the customer needs and wants, the assumption was the marketer should make what it can sell instead of trying to sell what it has made, satisfying customer needs at the right quantity, at the right quality, and at a right price. The perspective for the first time became outside in. Instead of looking inside what we can make and sell, the assumption became what does the customer want, and we will give you products that what he likes. So profits through lasting relationships based on customer value satisfaction. Then we will very quickly move on to a concept called societal marketing, which is the core idea of societal marketing is harmonizing business goals with society's conflicting goals. So consumer short-term wants versus society's long-term interest. For example, if you are using a lot of plastic makes products cheap, but at the end of the day the society will get harmed because it is not good for environment. So what the organization started doing was determine target market needs, deliver satisfaction while preserving or enhancing consumer and societal well-being. For the first time, the society's well-being was also brought into the picture. The new philosophy is what is good for the society should be good for the business. Then relationship marketing, building enduring connections. So we developed goals, and then these goals was to develop deep, enduring, mutually satisfying long-term relationship. The key constants were customers, employees, marketing partners, channels, suppliers, distributors, dealers, agencies, and even the financial community. The outcome was a marketing network of the company and the supporting stakeholders. Everybody has now become sort of a family, and they all have very healthy relations with each other. The principle of relationship marketing is build an effective network and relations with key stakeholders, and profits will automatically follow. Right now we are into a era called the holistic marketing, a comprehensive approach. The premise is marketing programs, processes, activities should consider their breadth and interdependencies. Everything matters, not only the customers, not only the company, including internal marketing. How does the internal consumers feel about it? Performance marketing, integrated marketing, and even relationship marketing. It's no longer simply a function, it is a style, it's an organizational culture, something like the Tatas always say, and even non-marketing factors. A summary, it is holistic marketing is a summary of effective marketing rather than a standalone. The entire company believes in the marketing concept. Now let us look at how effective marketing happens in organizations. It is actually a three-step process. The first step of any effective marketing is to continuously collect information. So data and information is collected on a daily basis about customers' needs and competitor capabilities. It's not only what we are doing, it is what the competitors are doing. Step 2 would be to share information across departments. Every department knows what is happening in the market. And step 3 is use information to create competitive advantage by increasing customer value. Always try to deliver more customer value. And the core argument is that the customer orientation and value delivery are at the core for long-term value maximization. If you want to exist in a company for a long period of, if you want to exist in the market for a long period of time, you have to deliver value, and you will have to deal with what is called as a customer delight. It is no longer customer satisfaction. You will have to delight the customer so that he will go on to his social media platforms and talk very highly about it. And when he talks highly about it, we get free publicity. Fundamental concept, let us look. The first important thing is an exchange. So what is an exchange is, we try to obtain a desired object by offering something in return. So the company has got a product, he will give it to us, in exchange we will give him money. So there are conditions for an exchange. There should be 2 parties minimum, both of them have something of value for each other. There should be willingness, there should be freedom of exchange, and the ability to communicate and deliver. So transaction is a unit of measurement or a trade of values. Okay, relationship marketing, shift from maximizing individual transactions profit to maximizing mutually beneficial long-term relationships. Then let us look at some very important important aspects like what is a need, what is a want, what is a demand, what is a product, what is a value, and what is satisfaction. Need is any state of felt deprivation. So when I'm feeling hungry, when I'm feeling thirst, when I'm feeling cold, it could be a physical state, it could be a social state, it could be a spiritual state. Wants are needs and shaped by culture and personality. For example, a Indian, when he's thirsty, might have water, whereas an American might have a cool drink, or a German might have a beer. So all these three things, whether it's water or a cool drink or a beer, will satisfy a thirst, but depending on the culture from where they are coming, they will differ. So we can have a desire. Desire is wanting to buy a product, but desire is not important, it is the demand. Demand means these are wants which are backed by buying power or purchasing power. So only when I might have a need, I might have a want, I might have a desire, but unless you have a buying power, it doesn't become a demand. So products are anything offered to satisfy a need or a want. It could be a good, it could be a service, it could be an idea, it could be a place, it could be a person. And value and satisfaction. What is a benefit that a customer is looking from a product? We call it as a value, and once he uses, if that benefit is perceived as being received, that will become satisfaction. So customers choose based on perceived product value and the capacity to satisfy needs. Then what is the purpose of marketing? It is about finding and keeping customers. Now let us look. Marketing is more than a business function. It is about research, it is about production, it is about finance, it's about accounting. So business existence relies on successful products, successful services, and which will rely on successful marketing, successful feedback, ability to take the feedback correctly and change the products suitably. So let us move beyond marketing and say what are some of the misconceptions people have about marketing. So people have a misconception that it is only about advertising, it is about selling. It is not like that, it is very, very comprehensive. The reality is marketing is a way of thinking about business. For example, if you take a ride hailing app like a Ola or Uber or whatever, it had made things easy for people. I don't have to buy a vehicle, I don't have to pay petrol for it, I don't have to pay EMI for it. So it makes things very easy. It's a way of making customers get better things in life. So it is not at all about selling, it is about marketing very comprehensively, and even we have a concept called demarketing where the company will tell you not to buy. So usually students think that marketing is all about buying. In a lot of cases they will tell you not to buy also. The fundamental connection is between people, products, customers and companies. Now once we have a marketing system or once we have a marketing, we need to have marketing goals. So what are some of the marketing goals that a company could think of? We have performance, financial performance as goals, which could be return on investment, it could be profitability, it could be market penetration, it could be number of products that we are selling by volume or by value, it could be market share, whatever we are having versus the competitors, it could be customer growth, how many customers we had last year and how many we are going to have in the next year. And it could be distribution strength. For example, there are a lot of companies which are very strong in distribution. So they're so solid that whichever product they have, that even though the product might not be very great, it will do well because of their distribution network. Then lots of time companies also have lot of ambitions. So one of the ambitions could be that my brand should be aware throughout the world. For example, if you think like companies like Amazon, Apple, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Tata's, maybe Reliance, these are companies that are known throughout the world. So the company thinks that brand awareness should reach throughout the world. Then a lot of companies think that new product introduction should be done, diffusion, which means even before we call it product cannibalization and product introduction. So the product, what the company does is they'll make the old product obsolete. So that is called making the product obsolete. The company itself makes its own product. For example, some mobile company might introduce version 16, and even when the version 16 is doing well, they will release version 17. Okay, so that is how it is. The company image is very, very important, the quality and added service. So what are the marketing core functions? They will include the exchange function, which is how the company is exchanging product with the with the customer in exchange for cash. Then the physical distribution, which is order delivery, order processing, then warehousing, physical distribution, material handling, and also facilitating functions. Then the marketing process is about the decision quality, the process impact, and then finally let us look at the marketing phases, the phases how the entire marketing works, which is strategy formulation. We need to design what is the path that we are going to take, and then we can move on to the marketing planning, which has got time horizons, process importance, collaboration, components, and impact. Then we can move on to the programming, the allocating, and the budgeting, which is how much we want to market, what would be the budget allocations, how much would it be, that would be under budgeting. And then we will move on to what is called as implementation, putting the action into plans, which is executive phase, and then it has to be people oriented. Obviously there is a lot of external focus and also internal coordination also is needed. Finally, when this implementation is done, we need to move on to marketing and auditing, measuring performance. And why do we do auditing, or why do we need to do auditing? Auditing is the review and analysis of programs and plans and strategies to assess success and determine necessary changes. So finally, we will move on to analysis and research. So we need to learn from our data. So all marketing decisions should be based on careful analysis and research, and then formal analysis, informal analysis, tools, and any objective is to make our decision making better. And if our decision making becomes better, our automatically everything will improve. So finally, let us touch upon what is called as the impact of the virtual markets. The markets have shifted very much now. So as a conclusion, what we can say is the future is going to be online. So the ability to purchase a wide variety of goods online, foods, groceries, electronics, etc. The business survival in the future will depend on how do you make use of these online things, effectively connect with consumers via websites and mobile, especially mobiles. And the future is going to be virtual markets. Future is whatever may be, the pros and cons of virtual markets are here to stay. Key tasks of marketing management, which are marketing strategies, marketing developing and marketing strategies and plans, marketing insights, capturing marketing insights, customer connections, brand building, market offering, value delivery, value communication, and growth stage. And finally, let us look at the 8 states of demand. Demand is very, very important. Marketing management decisions are associated in dealing with negative demand, non-existent demand, latent demand, declining demand, irregular demand, full demand, and overfull demand. So what it means is a company should very carefully try to find out in which state of demand it is and try to manage the demand. Otherwise what will happen is sometimes there will be more supply. More supply could lead to a lot of excess inventory, and sometimes it could mean there is more demand and less supply, which is a loss of opportunity cost. Well friends, that is a very short introduction of marketing management, and I hope you go through the textbook given and understand, enjoy, and develop yourself as good marketing managers.